Welcome back to Birds of a Feather. This is your daily Baltimore sports podcast. My name is Nathan Stroud, and today we're going to be going over some stuff regarding the Ravens and the Orioles. The Orioles game ended earlier today where they won 3-2 over the Pirates, and they got the sweep over the Pirates in this series. They've won eight of their last 9 games. Obviously, they sweep the Pirates in this series. The Orioles have been on fire in the month of September. They've been playing great this month. Again, they've won 8 of their last 9 games. They're 8 games below 500, so they really are turning this season around. Is it a little bit too late? Yes, but if they can turn the season around, have a good month of September, and continue to be playing well, they can kind of use this momentum heading into spring training, heading into the offseason, and then obviously going into next season, which is what we're all focused on. Also, in this episode, we're going to be going over some stuff regarding the Ravens. We do have some news from practice. There was practice today. We have a couple of injury report updates for you guys, and also some quotes that were said by some Cleveland Browns players. More specifically, Grant Delpit and Jerry Jeudy had some very choice words about the Ravens earlier today, and also some of the Ravens players had a response for those words as well. So the Browns are talking a little bit crazy going into this matchup this Sunday. Obviously, the Ravens are 0-1. The Browns are also 0-1, but the Browns are talking a little bit crazy about the Ravens, and they're feeling very, very, very confident in themselves, which good for them. Good for them. They do feel very confident. I think the spread right now is like 11.5-point underdogs for the Browns. So, shout out to them. If they go to Baltimore and beat us in our home opener, all the credit in the world to them. Obviously, I do think that the Ravens are going to win this game. I think that everyone else in the world thinks that the Ravens are going to win this game. But look, if the Browns are able to pull off the upset, shout out to them, shout out to Flacco, shout out to the boys over there in Cleveland. But they're talking a little bit crazy right now, and I think that some players on the Ravens are going to be kind of hearing those words. Not let it affect them too much. Don't let them get in their head too much, but going to be playing with a little extra juice this Sunday, so it should be a lot of fun. But before we go into the Ravens updates, because I do want to talk about the Ravens first in this episode before we go over to the Orioles, I do want to mention something with the Orioles real quick. And there is big news this morning that we have that we've promoted Mike Elias to the president of the Baltimore Orioles, which is big news because that means that Mike Elias is no longer the GM of the Orioles. He is technically a higher up in terms of the Orioles. He is now the president of operations for the Baltimore Orioles. So he's taken on a new role. He's no longer the general manager. So we're keeping Mike Elias around, which, people can have their opinions on that. Obviously, Mike Elias this past offseason had a really bad offseason, and it kind of affected this offseason, but he does do a very good job at drafting, as we know. And also, in my opinion, he had a really good trade deadline, committing fully to trading these guys, and also just the returns that he got as well. But people can say what they want about Mike Elias. Obviously, everyone can have their own opinions on it. Do I like Mike Elias in terms of building a team? No. But now that he is the president of baseball operations going into next season, I think, for the Orioles, that shouldn't really be the case with him. He's going to be dealing with a lot of other things, a lot more specific things regarding the Orioles, not necessarily player and team building. I still do think that Mike is going to have his input on the draft stuff because he is an incredible drafter. He has had some very, very good draft picks throughout his career, even dating back to when he was with the Astros. But Mike Elias is now the president of baseball operations for the Orioles, which means that a GM spot is now open in Baltimore. He is not going to be the GM of the Orioles anymore. So the Orioles, as of right now, as of today, I'm pretty sure, they are now actively searching for a general manager heading into this offseason, which is a very, very big deal. I don't know if it's going to be an internal hire or whether it's going to be an out-of-organization hire. I have a feeling that it's going to be an out-of-organization hire, so it looks like we're going to be hiring a new GM. Obviously, there should be a lot of money that should be getting spent this offseason on, bullpen guys or extensions or quality pitchers or quality starting pitchers and stuff like that. David Rubenstein, obviously last offseason he did say that there really wasn't a budget in terms of spending. So we'll see what happens this offseason. I'm expecting a big offseason for the Orioles, especially if they go out and get a new GM. And the biggest thing is to go out and be aggressive this offseason. Go pick up a closer, a certified closer. Go, revamp some of these bullpen arms and go get a quality starter, and then maybe sprinkle in some extensions in there as well. And we've got a very good offseason, hopefully, ahead of us for the Orioles. So a new GM is coming. That is very big news. That makes me very hopeful for this offseason. So it should be very exciting. And let's just get into some of this Ravens news real quick. So going into some of these Ravens news that did happen today, the first thing that I want to talk about is a post today that was made by a Cleveland Browns reporter, so shout out to Daniel. Basically, there was a question to Jerry Jeudy this morning that basically said, what challenges do the Ravens secondary present? And Jerry Jeudy responded with no challenges. He basically said there's no challenges, said it's going to be light work. Basically said that the Ravens secondary doesn't really have anything that sticks out to him. Okay, listen, I don't blame him for saying that. Obviously, there is a lot of talent name-wise on this secondary. You have Marlon Humphrey, you have Nate Wiggins, you have Jair Alexander, you have Malachi Starks. Like, you have a lot of very good... you have Kyle Hamilton, how could I forget him? You have so much, name talent on this secondary, which obviously imposes a lot of... fear, I guess, into a lot of teams' eyes, and I'm sure it did for the Bills. But from the way that they just played this last week against the Bills, I kind of understand him saying that there's no challenges, but, that is obviously putting a lot of confidence out there. It is getting into the Ravens, the players' heads, the people in the secondary. Kyle Hamilton responded with and said, he's not going to necessarily use this as bulletin, board stuff. Because if you need that type of stuff to get you ready for a game, then that's your problem. So I think a lot of the the Ravens players obviously see this quote, they hear it, and obviously they're facing the Browns. Joe Flacco's out there quarterbacking for the Browns, making his return to Baltimore for the first time. So that's going to be a lot of fun to see. But again, Jerry Jeudy feeling very confident in himself. It's like a lot of receivers do, saying there's no challenges on the Ravens secondary. We'll see how this ends up for them. But this is a very interesting quote. They're talking pretty crazy. And we have another quote for you guys that might be even more crazier than this one. And the other quote that I do want to go over regarding the Ravens was a quote that was said by Grant Delpit. And it basically was saying Derrick Henry was... basically, Grant Delpit was saying that it was not hard to tackle Derrick Henry. They were kind of talking about the challenges and struggles that it could be to tackle Derrick Henry. And Grant Delpit, who's a young safety for the Browns, said that it wasn't hard to tackle him and that it's not a problem tackling Derrick Henry. And look, I don't know if it's the best idea to be... I don't know if it's the best idea to say that it's not hard to tackle Derrick Henry a few days before you play him. I don't know if that's the best idea. Obviously, Derrick Henry's leading the league in rushing right now. He's 31 years old. There's no slowing down in his game. We saw what he did last season. We saw what he did against the Bills when he, besides the fumble. But saying that it's not hard to tackle Derrick Henry of all players is a little bit crazy. And Derrick Henry did see that quote, and he said, yeah, I saw that. His coach had a quote. He had a quote. We'll see on Sunday. And this is the type of AFC North in-division football and, rivalries back and forth stuff that I like to see. I don't really know if I'd consider the Browns and the Ravens a rivalry. This is the Browns. We understand the Browns are the Browns. The Browns will always be the Browns. We understand that. But they're talking a little bit crazy for being an 11.5 point underdogs. They are talking a little bit crazy right now. We'll see what they do. If they can, if the Browns are able to go to Baltimore and beat us in our home opener, all the praise in the world to them. But they are talking a little bit crazy. They are feeling very confident in themselves, obviously saying that the Ravens secondary doesn't pose any problems. But obviously, with everything that happened against the Bills, I understand why that was said. But saying it out loud just kind of, puts the word out there, chip on their shoulder, stuff like that. And then saying that it's not hard to tackle Derrick Henry might not be the greatest thing for the Browns defense this Sunday, because Derrick Henry knows about that quote. He says, we'll see on Sunday. It's all business to him. And it might be a little bit personal as well if we see Grant Delpit trying to go tackle Derrick Henry. We'll see what happens there. But this just kind of makes this matchup in this game even more entertaining. Obviously, the Ravens are huge favorites in this game. 11.5 point favorites for the Ravens. That's what the spread is. It's one of the biggest spreads of the week. We understand how good this Ravens offense is. We understand that they had some challenges on defense against the Bills. But Obviously, I'm expecting the Ravens to win this game, but what makes AFC North football so entertaining is these little storylines and quotes that happen throughout the week. And this can happen with any team, not even necessarily just divisional football, but this can happen with other teams. Like, let's say if we were playing the Dolphins or the Texans or something like that. These little quotes can happen throughout the week, these little chirps back and forth at each other, and then when it gets to game day, it's all business. It's all game time. The best man wins. That's the type of vibe that this is going to be, and this just made this matchup even more fun to watch because obviously both teams are going to have to try and back up those words that they're saying to each other. Obviously, the Ravens are not going out saying anything really to the Browns. It's more the Browns kind of instigating, but let's see if they can back it up on Sunday. And also one final thing that I want to talk about with this Ravens team and some of the updates from today on Thursday is about the injury report from today, and we do have a little bit of stuff from here. Obviously, yesterday, Jair, Isaiah, Nnamdi Madubuike, and Patrick Ricard were all on the injury report. All of the same guys are on the injury report again today, but Jair was a full go in practice today, and apparently Zach Gore was saying that he was flying around in practice and that his film and that his tape from this past game wasn't all bad, which is a little weird to say because it definitely was pretty bad in terms of the impactful plays that Jair had to make, but he was saying that Jair's flying around in practice. He was saying that he looks really good. So hopefully Jair can have a very, very, very big bounce back week this Sunday against the Browns. Isaiah Likely was another DNP on the injury list. Again, we probably knew that. We knew that Isaiah wasn't going to probably play this week. And same thing with Pat Ricard. He also did not play this week. So it's looking like we're not going to get Isaiah Likely or Patrick Ricard playing this Sunday against the Browns. So hopefully both of them will be back Week 3 against the Lions. We do play Monday Night Football in Week 3, so it gives them an extra day to get ready for that game. So hopefully we'll have these guys back in Week 3, but it's looking like we're not going to get Isaiah and Pat this week. But Nnamdi Madubuike, he was limited in today's practice. Yesterday he was DMP. Today he was limited, so it's looking like there is a good chance that he will hopefully be available this Sunday. So because we're going to need him. He had one of the best performances on defense by any D tackle in the NFL this weekend in Week 1. So we're really going to need him against the Browns this week. Obviously, if he doesn't play, it's the Browns. We don't necessarily need to have everybody full go, but obviously it would help just to kind of secure this defense even more. And any little thing to help out this defense would obviously be a big help because we saw what just happened against the Bills, how bad that they looked, how misorganized they looked, and also regarding kind of what happened against the Bills. Zach Gore today was talking, and he was kind of saying that in the fourth quarter, the team was very fatigued and tired, which is a little weird because it's Week 1. I would maybe understand it if it was week like 12, 13, or 14 to say that these guys are fatigued in the second half or in the fourth quarter. But for them to be fatigued a little bit in Week 1 and for him to say that that was a reason why things looked a little sloppy is a little questionable. That's a little scary to me, the fact that they're getting fatigued like that. But hopefully that shouldn't be a problem this weekend. Hopefully against the Browns it can just be a nice, clean blowout win because, again, that's what I'm expecting. We're very high favorites against the Browns. It's the Browns. We need to go out there and just get the job done, take care of business, kind of shut them up with what they're saying, all the stuff that they're talking, kind of go out there, do the thing they need to do, go win this game against the Browns in any means necessary, and then get ready for Week 3 against the Lions where you're 1-1, and then you move forward from there. That's all that needs to be on the minds of these Ravens players. I think that they're obviously all past the Bills game. I think we all are. We move forward to the Browns this weekend, and we go from there. But switching up sports here, going over to the Orioles, who got the win over the Pirates, a 3-2 win over the Pirates. And if you look at this series as a whole, the Orioles win the first game 3-2. They win yesterday 2-1, and they win today 3-2. So all three wins that the Orioles had this weekend against the Pirates, all three wins that they had were all one-run wins. Very close games, 3-2, 2-1, 3-2. Very close games against the Pirates. A very big pitching duel-esque type matchup this weekend, or not this weekend. This series against the Pirates. Very big pitching matchup. The offenses really didn't necessarily do amazing, but the Orioles were able to win all 3 games against the Pirates and get the sweep. Get those brooms out. It's a sweep against the Pirates. And the Orioles have won 8 of their last 9 games, and they are on fire right now. But going over to this game, the Orioles in this game had 9 total hits. They scored 3 runs on those 9 hits. They went 2 for 11 with runners in scoring position, left 9 guys on base. So struggles with runners in scoring position, but obviously it didn't matter at the end. They still got the win. Jackson Holliday went 2 for 4 in this game. He was the only Oriole in this game with multiple hits. Shout out to Jackson Holliday. He's really kind of turning his season around in a big way. He's been playing amazing recently. Throughout the month of September, he's been great. And so is this Orioles team. But Jackson Holliday had 2 hits today, went 2 for 4 with a run scored. Jeremiah Jackson gets a hit today, goes 1 for 4 with a run scored. Gunnar Henderson goes 1 for 3. He kind of breaks out of his slump a little bit. Emmanuel Rivera goes 1 for 4 with an RBI. Dylan Beavers goes 1 for 4 with an RBI. And Dylan Beavers actually had the go-ahead RBI in this game. Down in the set, because this game was 2-2 going into the bottom of the 3rd inning, but there was no scoring in the 4th, 5th, 6th inning, and then in the 7th inning, Dylan Beavers drove in the go-ahead run, which ended up being the go-ahead run to win the game. So shout out to Dylan Beavers. Yesterday he had the walk-off win, yesterday he had the walk-off, and then today he had the go-ahead run. So Dylan Beavers is being clutch in his bag right now. Goes 1 for 4 with an RBI in this game. Colton Cowser goes 0 for 2 with a run and 2 walks. Samuel Basayo goes 0 for 4. Not a great game from him. He's not doing the best job in terms of adjusting to bat speeds and stuff like that. Pitchers are kind of figuring him out a little bit. He is at a 179 average right now. It's not been great for him here recently, but again, as I've said over and over and over again, there should be no worry when it comes to Basayo. He's going to figure this out. He's going to, hopefully end the season off well over the next couple of weeks, heading into spring training, a full-time spring training, knowing he's on the roster, and then next year will be his rookie season. Like, guys, this isn't even his rookie season. There's no reason to go out here, jump the gun, and worry too much about it. Things will be okay, but we should be thankful for what Dylan Beavers is doing because he's been playing incredible, and his rookie season doesn't start until next season as well. And then Austin Jackson went 0 for 2 with 2 walks, and then Kobe Mayo went 1 for 4 with an RBI. So 3 different players getting RBIs in this game: Emmanuel Rivera, Dylan Beavers, and Kobe Mayo. Shout out to them. And then the pitching in this game, Cade Povich was the starting pitcher in this game, and he had a decent game, had an all-right game. Got through 5.2 innings, gave up 5 hits, 2 walks, 2 runs, and had 6 strikeouts in this game. So shout out to him. And then the bullpen came in and really sealed the deal on this game. Ynier Cano, Grant Wolfram, Cade Stroud, and Keegan Aiken, all 4 of those guys didn't give up a run out of the bullpen. So the bullpen played great. They held it down for the Orioles, and obviously they go and get the win. And Grant Wolfram actually gets the win in this game, 3-0 in recorded wins and losses. So shout out to him. And man, shout out to this Orioles team, man. I said it earlier on my Twitter, on the Birds of a Feather Twitter account, which y'all should go and follow. Click the link in the bio of whatever platform that you're listening on. But earlier I was saying, this right now is peak Orioles baseball. This is peak Orioles baseball right now. Things are going great. They've won 8 of their last 9 games. They're on fire in this month of September. And obviously we go and look here at the upcoming games for the rest of this month. Obviously we just finished this series against the Pirates. And then starting tomorrow in the weekend series is against the Blue Jays in Toronto. The Blue Jays obviously are one of the best teams in baseball this year. I think they just beat the Astros in a series today. I was seeing it earlier. But Toronto has been incredible this year. But this series, it's going to be Trevor Rogers pitching tomorrow. It's going to be Sagano on Saturday. And then on Sunday, it's going to be a bullpen game. So should be pretty interesting there. But it's going to be a lot of fun here. Yeah. So, series in Toronto. We're going to be on the road in Toronto this weekend, and then Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday next week, we're going to be in Chicago. Should be a lot of fun. It's going to be Rogers versus Chris Bassett tomorrow. We're going to be Sagano, Scherzer on Saturday, and then going to be Shane Bieber versus probably a bullpen game on Sunday. So, things are looking interesting. Should be a fun series, and hopefully the Orioles can keep up their winning ways this weekend. But thank you guys so much for tuning into and listening to this episode of Birds of a Feather. If you like this content, make sure to subscribe on YouTube, follow up on Spotify, make sure to click the link in the bio as well to follow the Twitter, follow the Instagram, make sure to give those a follow. And yeah, I appreciate you guys again for all the support. I really do appreciate it. Thank you guys again. I'm a little bit sick right now. Obviously, you can tell my voice might not be as clear today. I am a little bit sick, but things are going to be good. I appreciate you guys again. I'll have an episode up sometime tomorrow talking about the Orioles game and obviously any sort of Ravens news that happens as well. So should be a fun weekend this weekend. I think there's Thursday Night Football on today, so go enjoy that. Hopefully y'all go watch that. It should be a good matchup today with the Commanders and the Packers. Obviously, we got football on Sunday. This Saturday, we are going to be doing a game preview for this Browns game. And then obviously tomorrow, we're going to talk about anything Ravens updates related that's going on. And yeah, should be a fun weekend. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a great sales day. Go O's, go Ravens, and I'll see y'all later. Peace out.